Today is a good day to die. I'm Steph.
And I'm Ange.
We're
Nerdazons.
So this month is my choice.
Your choice.
We're comparing the 1990 Flatliners to the 2017 Flatliners. So the original is 5 medical students experiment with their near-death experiences until dark consequences of their past tragedies begin to jeopardize their life. This is an ultimate classic of mine.
Yep.
I've seen it so many times. It's one of my favorites. It's actually what got me into sci-fi growing
That's
up.
cool.
That and of course Doctor Who. Well, this one stars Kiefer Sutherland, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, William Baldwin, Oliver Platt.
It's such a lineup, star cast.
Yeah. From the opening scenes of statues and stuff like that, it was actually the movie straight after Lost Boys for Kiefer Sutherland.
Right.
So
yeah, he does look like his character because he still has the blonde hair.
Yeah.
Which we know is not, I don't think it's his natural colour.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Love that movie. That's one of my favourites.
Lost Boys?
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, same. I haven't seen that in a really long time either.
Gotta rewatch it.
Same. I might watch it tonight.
I think I have it on DVD somewhere. Do it.
Yeah. Again, I chose this one because ultimate classic, and I didn't think it needed to be remade at all. I think it was just great the way that it was.
Yeah.
So I have a few faults though in the fact that you see, okay, first of all, they're medical students. How can Kiefer Sutherland afford that beautiful house? How can
His house was empty.
Yeah, I know, but it was still a massive house.
It was an apartment and it was empty.
Yeah.
Every time he was like, when he was running around locking all the doors and deadbolting it, I'm like, why is there no furniture?
Oh, yeah. And then Kevin Bacon could afford that, like, weird truck.
But, like, vehicles in America are really cheap.
Yeah.
And if he got one that he was able to, like, fix himself, then, yeah, no problem there.
Yeah. And then who the F just, instead of getting expelled or whatever, just jumps down the window, you know.
Like, starts abseiling.
Yeah. Cool.
I know. That was cool. I liked that. So with this, it was the first time I watched it. I really liked this one. It raised different questions in my own thought compared to the new one. The new one went in a different way. Whereas this one, it was really good. It had an internal character journey. So they had things they need to deal with themselves. And that's what I liked about it.
And also, I'm going to just jump straight into this point. The whole aspect of them having to face their fears to get rid of the psychological trauma that's happening. They actually wanted to forgive themselves. They wanted to right their wrongs.
Yes.
Not because it would stop whatever's happening.
Yes, I had that point. Yes.
They did it because they genuinely wanted to. Whereas in the new one, they wanted to do it to stop the fact that this was happening.
I wrote that down. I put down that they were more focused on stopping them from getting attacked as opposed to actually confronting and amending the things that they did wrong in life.
Yeah.
And I think that was a big thing as to why I think the original was better. You seemed more connected to their journeys themselves. One thing, since we're jumping straight into this, when I was watching it with my twin brother, and we love to pause movies and analyze them. So we're like, I can only do it with him. Everyone else gets annoyed when I do that. And we were really analyzing the color schemes throughout the film, because that was a very big it was a very big thing we noticed. So whenever it went blue, we could see that blue or red, they went into kind of like that midway point of like in between death and life. And we were playing around with the fact that blue was cold. And at first we were thinking, oh, maybe red was evil, but I think red is warmth, because Julia Roberts from the get-go, she had red. And for her, hers was a memory that wasn't evil, it wasn't bad. She just didn't see the full memory. To see the red, it's a warm memory. You just need to see the full picture. Whereas with the blue ones, it was cold because Kiefer Sutherland was cruel to that child. Billy Baldwin was an absolute ass to those women. So theirs was blue, whereas Kevin Bacon had a bit of both. And his was warmth as well because he was able to acknowledge and confront what he did.
Yeah.
I never
noticed that.
Yeah, we were talking about it and he was like, yeah, it could work that way. Blue is cold and red was warmth, and that was a really good indication of their character journey, I found.
I mean, it's completely outdated now, but I just think it's hilarious that there was an old hospital that they were able to get to and it had all this equipment already set up.
So, okay, I questioned this. So when you watch Kiefer Sutherland or Julia Roberts or wherever, when they're running into the building, that like there's all this construction and stuff, but when you see it at the beginning, he goes past like all the like beautiful old paintings and things like that and statues. It looks like a museum. And then when you see them doing their exams with the lady while they've got all the like the bodies there that they are assessing, the floor is a beautiful marble. That looks like a museum. Why is there medical students in a museum building? Like, where is the sterilization? Where is the drainage supplies for any bodily fluids coming out? Like, it just didn't, I couldn't wrap my head around it. Why were they doing it in that type of a building?
I think that's just the directors.
Like, I get that they want that gothic feel from all those, like, I don't know if it's Renaissance or something. All the art people will probably shoot me for this, but all those, like, medieval paintings and beautiful, like, gothic style statues. I get you want that feel that adds to the whole afterlife vibe of the film, but it didn't make sense for medical students to be in there with their cadavers and doing all of that in a museum.
And it kind of freaks me out when you just first see it and like one of them's cutting the foot.
In the foot, and they put the pressure in, and I was like, oh, that looks so real for such an old film. Yeah, like, I felt the same. I was just like, whoa.
Yeah, great on that. But what an ultimate cast as well.
Yeah, and even though it's not super old, it was the 90s. You can definitely see a gender difference.
Yes.
So my twin actually pointed this out to me, and he said in the very beginning, I think it's before Kiefer Sutherland goes under, or it's just after he went under. But if you notice with Julia Roberts, every time she stands up to them or questions them or she's ready to have her say, they always cut her off with, God, you're beautiful. And it stops her. And it's like, that is such
a chauvinistic.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, I never noticed that. And he said it's their way of shutting her down.
Yeah.
But in a nicer way.
But also it's the 90s.
Yeah, you don't realise that until you see it. And it's just like, they keep addressing that, oh, you're a woman in the 90s, you can't be a Dr. N beautiful. And like whenever she has a thought, it's like, we're going to shut you down by saying this.
But she questions that. She's like, why? Why can't I go under?
Towards the end, like when you see her a bit more, but in the very beginning, they really do. And you see it, and you're like, oh gosh, we've come far from even just that in the 90s. But he pointed that out to me. He's like, do you see that they shut her down?
It's definitely like a journey that you go on, and I really do like the fact, again, that they genuinely wanted to help, and I felt so bad for that poor kid that died due to Kiefer. Like,
yes, yeah, he got really, so before she went under, I remember saying this as I was watching it, and I'm like, why would you want to go under after you saw how like twisted he got when the other guy was under, and he's like, what if I don't pull him out? And he messes, like, he's showing that he can hold life in his hand right there. And it's like, why, like, you could see he looks so evil. Why would you want to try it?
One thing about the other movie is that, yes, they do get powers from doing this, but they don't really focus on it in this much.
I think they make, like, a brief mention, but they don't explore it. And I kind of liked that they didn't. Yeah.
Whereas suddenly, oh, she can play the piano. Oh, she can do a Rubik's Cube.
Yeah, we will talk about that one later. We'll try and, I know in our last month episode we did kind of merge them, but we'll just focus on this one. I think this one, so they did have great use of color. They very rarely had a natural color scheme. So they, not only did they have the blue and the red when they went into life, they had times where they had the yellow backdrop or a green backdrop with the guy that didn't go under. Sometimes it showed that. So I think their color use was really, really good. It definitely animated the film for a dark setting. Like, everything happened at night for them. So I think that was a really good choice.
And when Kiefer goes under and he's just come out and he's walking down the alleyway with the cigarette, he's just like, that was creepy. And this to me was creepy.
Yeah.
Because is it real? Is it not? Like, who's doing this to each other?
Like, I think when she noticed, though, from that scene and the blue, you could see the pattern. So like when I was talking about this today, when I was a kid and I was still scared of horror films, The Exorcist scared me, but I discovered the pattern in the film. Every time a visitor left the house or she'd shut the door and she'd have her moment at the door, something always happened when she'd turn around, like be it a scream or be it she comes down the stairs backwards. So once you figure out what the pattern is, you can expect it to come. So as soon as you figured the light, you knew that it wasn't reality that they were in.
That's where I'm completely different in the fact that when I watch a movie, I focus completely...
Yeah, you like really delve into it.
I completely get into that movie. I don't really think about, oh, this is going to happen, this is going to happen. I just put all my energy and pretend like I'm there.
Yeah.
And I just watch it, and I'm very
Sometimes I wish I was like that.
tunnel visioned in it.
But I can't help but question and think of it. Like,
No, but that's great. I kind of wish that I did that.
But I wish I just got into the movie and enjoyed it sometimes. But that's what makes this podcast good. We both look at it differently.
Exactly.
And then we can chat about it.
Also, with Billy Baldwin's character, like what a total asshole.
Yeah.
And chauvinistic and just not very nice to see all the women. And why would you want to marry him?
That was a really good scene. Like, I was, again, the whole time I watched it, I was with my twin. So when I was with him, we were chatting about it, and I said they did that in a really good way that didn't shove feminism down your throat, but it allowed a voice. Like, it allowed Billy Baldwin to know what it felt like to be leered at, to be looked at like a piece of meat. Like, all the pickup lines that he used on women, they used on him. So it makes him feel worthless. And I thought that was a really good scene when he was going up the stairs and he was haunted by the actions that he did to other women.
Yeah.
And I think that was done brilliantly. And it was simple. You didn't have, like, it was just the green. So it was just the blue light. So it was the cold light. Because his memory wasn't, like, his thing was not warm at all, but he just had the cold light, and it just had the faces of the women. And I thought that was really well, that he needed to confront every single person he wronged, and it was just done really nicely.
And I like the fact that his wife just walked away.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And he's like,
well,
that's not what you expect.
For him, though. Like, he didn't, sure, he lost that person, but I feel that he didn't atone for it.
He didn't really know.
It was up to, like, she was the one that severed that line, not him.
Yeah.
And he was just going along with it.
Whereas all of the others
had to confront
them. They had to atone for their sins.
Yeah.
He's really, he just, he's going to go back and redo it again?
I feel like for him, he didn't fully atone. But I think it was done really great, the way they did that.
Yeah. And, it was a bit sad with Julie Roberts having to have her dad kill himself.
But it was so good that she just confronted, she confronted it, and she was able to sit there and have, like, a hug in that afterlife almost, and to be able to, like, hug and let it go. You could see it as she was letting it go, the red light went away, and it went back to the natural colour, which was really nice. Because that's how you can see she let it go. Yeah,
it's just an absolute classic for me.
And, like, what's really good about this one is at the end, sure, they all flatlined, but to them, it's like the flatline brought out something they've pushed in the back of their conscious that is forcing them to go through it and to let it go. I feel like I'm saying that a lot.
Let it go, let it go.
I feel like I sing it in my head every time I say it, but for them, flatlining brought out things that they've repressed.
Yes, and it was a good thing for them to do that.
When I watched it, it didn't seem supernatural. Like, the only thing that makes it supernatural is that Kiefer Sutherland started getting cuts on his faces, but then when you see Kevin Bacon take the the rock climbing hook away, he's the one doing that to himself.
Yes.
So really, there's not much supernatural about it.
Yeah.
It can be an inner journey film.
Yeah. Oh, that was creepy when he was, like, cutting up his, getting his face and...
Yeah, I know. That was a really good scene. This was also probably one of the last good films that Schumacher did before he screwed up Batman.
Really?
Because he did Batman and Robin.
I know, he did Batman and Robin, but to me,
I think it was a great film, but then he jumped into Batman, and it's like...
No, I like those Batman movies.
He only did Batman and Robin, I think.
No, he did Batman Returns.
Oh, I like that one.
Yeah.
But Batman and Robin was terrible.
Yeah, but I'd love to do those as an episode.
But his, like, reputation on those films definitely...
He did Lost Boys as well.
Yeah. So everything, like, prior to the Batman were really, really good. And then when he did the Batman movies, he lost a lot of reputation. And I think that a lot of people recognize this film as, like, one of the last ones before his reputation went down a bit. So
rewatching it, I realized how dark this movie is, but then it is in nighttime.
Well, like, it's dark in the sense that it's death. They're all playing with their lives so casually, and it's like, I couldn't. You're literally trusting people around you to do that for you. And if I was studying with other people, I don't know if I could trust someone to pull me out of that. I just don't know if I could.
And with Julia Roberts talking to the old lady, she had her reasons to go under.
Yes.
Because she wanted to see where her father went. She wanted to
Yes.
know what was out there, whereas the others were just chauvinistic about it.
Yeah. But then she also got competitive as well.
Yes. Oh, I love Julia Roberts so much.
She is so gorgeous. And when I look at her, like, red, nice, curly hair, and I'm like, why can't my hair sit nicely when it's curly like that?
Product.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure she would have had a perm back then.
Yeah. All I can think of now is BMX Bandits with
Nicole Kidman
and her terrible hair.
Yeah, but it was the in thing.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Well, actually, perms are coming back.
They are coming back. Not for me, but
good
they are.
perms.
Yeah.
But no. Speaking of perms, so I remember one day my mum picked me up from like primary school and she just got a perm and I was like, Elvis? Because mum's had the most terrible perm. She picked me up from school and she's like, look how beautiful my hair is. I'm like, no.
Oh, you're so mean.
Love you, mum, but
Every girl wants to think their hair is nice when they come out of the hairdresser.
yeah.
I always think of Legally Blonde with perms because that was the point that was able to save the case.
Yeah.
Because she had a shower with a freshly done perm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I always think about.
That's cute.
So lame.
What do you think this one got on Rotten Tomatoes?
I'm going to go with 89%.
Really? You
Yeah.
are completely off.
Higher or lower?
Lower.
No way.
Yep.
I wanted to give it a higher one, but I was trying to think how many people know of this film and stuff. 73?
48%.
No.
Yeah, I'm a little bit heartbroken.
I am too. It's such a good film.
It is such a good film.
And not to mention, like the soundtrack is a really great synth new wave sort of track, and I think even that made it really awesome.
Yep.
I'm very shocked that it got so low.
Yep, me too. I'm a little bit sad about it.
Wow.
But
How many movie reels do you give the original?
I give the original a solid 4.
I agree. I'd give it a 4.
Because I don't know, it has aged a little bit, obviously.
Yep.
But, I mean, I don't know. I don't think it's a perfect film.
But I think it's original idea. When the movie came out, I don't think anything kind of along those lines of the afterlife, and
Like, especially
flatlining.
like doctors doing it themselves
Yeah,
to
like
see
sciencey experiment.
what-
I think it's a very original idea when it was made, and it's a really great idea.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people can watch it and think, oh, is there anything I should confront?
Okay. Okay. Flatliners 2017. 5 medical students obsessed by what lies beyond the confines of life embark on a daring experiment. By stopping their hearts for a short period, each triggers near-death experience, giving them first-hand accounts of the afterlife. Okay, so this one is actually directed by Niels Arden Oplev, who did the Swedish version of Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. So I was expecting a lot because that is a great film.
Yeah, when you
as we
said
imagine.
that, it's like, ew, where'd you go wrong with this?
Okay, this one stars Ellen Page, Diego Luna, Nina Dobrev, James Norton, and Kirstie Clemens, with also Keith Sutherland.
So already the cast is nowhere near as good. You've got like TV shows and an actress who does a lot of indie films,
Yeah.
So the cast is underwhelming. Secondly, the cast it's different. So I found Ellen Page, her character was almost like a mesh between Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland. So she's the one that instigated, but she's the one that had the actual motive to go behind, like under. She's the one that needed to find out what happened to her sister.
Okay, first of all, what was the go with Diego's horrible wig? Like that terrible hair with the ponytail, he's the one that didn't go under.
Are you sure it was a wig?
I don't know, but that was the most terrible hair.
Because he has longer-ish hair in Rogue One.
Yeah, but he's still got such
It's
shit
almost
hair.
like they tried to still give him that 90s hair wave sort of style.
Okay, first up, I need to say, what was this movie? Was it a drama? Was it a sci-fi? Was it a comedy? Was it romance?
Yeah.
I just feel like this was 8 movies
Yeah.
pushed into one.
Do you know what the movie kind of reminded me of? I don't know the name of it, but there was a film that came out where you have a pill and you're super smart when you have that pill.
Talking about Matrix.
No, it's like, I don't know if it was like Ryan Philippe or Amanda Seyfried or something. I feel like I want to say they were in it, and they elude like, I know, mob guys. I never watched it. I know that was the trailer, but that's what vibe I get.
Watching the trailer, because I hadn't seen this movie beforehand, because I was just like, no, there's no way you're going to ruin Flatliners for me. There's no way. I'm not going to watch it. And then I was like, do you know what? I'd love to see what other people think of the comparison. So, of course, this is going to be an episode. But the characters, I did not feel for them at all.
No.
And like I was saying before, is that they wanted to right their wrongs just so that way they could be at peace. They didn't want to do it because
this film was more focused on a modern, they focused more on the jump scares in the film than they did the character development.
Yes.
And you were right. They wanted to end the nightmare, not amend their actions.
Exactly. And then what the hell? Ellen Page dies halfway through this movie.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that. And I'm like, what? So instead of going from the character to show physical signs that, hey, you can get injured here, let's just go right ahead and kill her straight away. Like, they escalated that.
Yeah.
So she will never be, like, so she died not at ease, you know? And yeah, the character journeys in this one, they didn't develop the characters from a start. So you couldn't relate to them. I had no sympathy for them and for the things that they had done.
No, and with James Norton's version of Billy Baldwin, yes, he was a creep.
I thought it was a pretty cool story for him though.
Like, he lived on a boat and...
Oh, no, I just think it was like, I thought it was really interesting in, like, they went down a different path for him. Like, I don't hate it. It's not going to be the same, but they went down the path of, you left a girl having to deal with a mistake that takes two people to do, you know, and that is a horrible thing to do. And I like that they went down that avenue that they...
But then everything happy at the ending, and they did not seem distraught that Ellen Page's character died.
And they didn't seem conflicted in the fact that they all just went and did this horrible thing that could have left them all dead. They didn't seem like it affected them at all. Like, hey, we just played with our lives.
Oh, now I can play the piano. I can do Rubik's Cubes. I'm an amazing scientist doctor.
Yes, yeah, I agree.
And also
And more went under in this one.
No, they all 4 of the 5 went under.
No, so in the original...
They didn't all go under.
They didn't all go under.
There was 1.
4 went under, whereas this... Oh, it was the same amount, never mind.
Yep.
One thing I wanted to point, though, just a little symbolism that I just remembered in the original. At the end, when they zoom out of, like, the museum / like, medical school, there's 5 paintings and there's 5 people in them and there's 5 characters. So it kind of the paintings kind of represent them.
I didn't notice that.
My brother pointed that out.
Oh.
He's really good at picking up on those things. And I'm like, I just want to mention that. So
I mean,
but back to this one,
And, you know, I was like, oh my God, Kiefer Sutherland's in this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
you're saying you've got a point regarding that.
So, okay, when I watched it, as soon as I saw him, I'm like, oh, because they say when Ellen Page dies, right, they freak out. So they're more afraid that they're going to lose their scholarships and stuff, as opposed to the journey, which is what I liked about the first one.
Whereas, you know, she killed somebody. Yes, okay, you're new to doctoring and everybody's going to make mistakes.
Yes,
but you need to own up that you killed somebody.
But back to Ellen Page. So when they come out, they say, I forgot what his character's name, but they're like, he knows that we're hiding something. And then I thought, oh, this could almost be like a belated sequel because, you know, if he knows that they're hiding something, do you think that he knows that they're opening up an old science experiment that he once started? And then I got interested thinking, oh yeah, it could be like he could know that they're playing with death the way that he did with his friends. And then I was watching some things and looking at interviews and stuff. So Kiefer Sutherland in interviews was always under the impression he was playing the same character. But when they finished the film, they said, no, it's a remake. It's not a sequel. So he acted it out thinking he was that same character, but really that's not what happened. So it could have been connected in that way. Yeah. But they decided, no, it's going to be a remake.
Yeah, but also, like, it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen.
No, I did like that it was very modern in the hospital room. Like, it seemed believable. Hey, yeah, we can go to the sub-basement and use all that stuff. Like, that to me seemed more believable than pulling all the medical equipment into a room above a freaking museum. I just can't get my head around that.
But one thing that, like, they were saying nobody ever comes down here. No one ever comes down here. This is in case an emergency happens.
They did say that there's a cleaning schedule.
I know. And then they were saying, oh, but they're cleaners. Like, I don't get it. They were saying nobody ever comes down here.
No,
And then
but
there's a
from
code.
from the get-go, she did say it's medical equipment that doesn't get used, so no one does come down here. But the cleaners do have a schedule, and she planned it around that schedule.
Yeah.
So you always knew that was going to pop up.
One thing that really annoyed me is that I actually picked up that there was a secret code to get into the door, right? She had to like figure out the keypad she had to like type in a code, right, to get in and out of the actual facility where they do the flatlining. And then they just suddenly forget about it, and that they're like, oh, open up the door.
When you see later at the very end when Nina Dobrev's character goes under, you can see the door. When he pulls it open, you can see that it has the hinge and the bolt. So she ripped that open herself to get in through the basement, through a different door.
I was going to be disappointed in this movie, and I was really disappointed in this movie.
One thing too is it's the same color schematics all through.
Yeah.
So you do kind of get used to all the different color themes in the first one compared to this one. It's just very bright and sterile. So it does give you that, like, from the get-go, having sterile lighting and no character development, you really can't connect.
I did not give two hoots about any of the characters.
Neither.
And the jump scares were nothing. And I was like, but in the
it's
original...
like they wanted to jump scare, but then they didn't go all in with it.
No, they really didn't.
It was like a hit and a miss.
Like I just said, I'm really disappointed that they killed off Ellen Page's character.
Yeah, I'm very shocked too. And the only thing that gave evidence that they could be harmed by these memories was when he had the knife mark.
Yeah.
But even then, they brushed it off. You know?
It was more about, in the original, it was more about the nightmares and the atonement that they needed to get. Whereas this one, it was all about, let's see how smart I can be. Let's see what I can do here.
Yeah.
Which, completely different.
What
just annoyed me.
Felt more, the only time I felt anything for a character was I felt more sympathy for Alicia, the girl he left, who had the child, and the poor girl who had her images spread across the school. To have those characters in it for like 2 minutes and to feel more sympathy for them than I did the actual main characters is saying something that you failed.
But also when she went to confront the girl that she hurt.
I didn't believe that she accepted that apology.
No, she was like, I'm done. Cool.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Yeah.
No, that would have caused me a lot of trauma.
Yeah.
And would have just effed me up.
Yeah.
And, that's a huge thing to have go around your school.
Yeah, it's like they tried to have a big story point for each of them, but they didn't venture into them properly. Whereas in the original, only really 2 characters had a very big, like a deep memory to go with, and that's Julia Roberts and Kiefer Sutherland. The other 2, they had something that obviously was bothering them, but it was minimal, like they
it wasn't life altering.
No, like they acknowledged it and quickly actioned it. Or in Billy Baldwin's case, he could see that it was happening and then it got shut down by his wife.
Yeah.
Whereas the other 2, like it gave more time for you to go into the character development of the other 2, and so you didn't lose anything there.
I have to say, it's a very pretty film.
The new one?
Yeah, the new one's pretty.
It's just all about CGI and, new technology and things like that, but they
could have done so much for this movie.
They
it really could have been a great film.
Yeah.
But this movie, I was so devastated after watching it, just going, this is literally one of the worst movies I've ever seen.
And I have to say, I'm going to go right back to the very beginning.
Yep.
What the hell, when she just jumped straight into it? She didn't tell anyone what she was doing. She didn't tell any of them that she had this extracurriculum science project. At least in the first one, they obviously they're medical students. They probably had a drink at some point, and they've talked about these theories and bounced off of each other as you would. Like, we bounce off each other with movies, so they do it in their medical field. But she did none of that.
No.
And then the others only joined in when they saw she got smarter.
Yep.
So they weren't even connected to the project themselves,
Yeah.
So they had all the elements, they just didn't put it together properly.
It felt like 8 different movies all at once.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was just so disappointed.
This one flatlined for me.
Yeah, I agree. I was about to say this one was definitely a flatliner.
Yes. I beat you to the punch.
What do you reckon this one got on Rotten
This one
Tomatoes?
better have got 20% or something like that.
Lower.
Oh, thank God. 14%.
Lower.
10%?
Lower. It got 4% on Rotten
Is
Tomatoes.
that the lowest rated Rotten Tomatoes film we've ever done?
I think it might be the lowest Rotten
Oh my
Tomatoes.
God.
Yeah, it got 4%.
Good, it should have got that because it was so bad.
What do you give it?
I give this a 0.5 out of 5 movie reels. The only good thing in it was the cool new medical equipment and the scenery.
Yeah.
That was it.
Like, literally no character development.
No, I had no connection to any character development.
I was even, like, Kiefer Sutherland being in it, I was like, but he just fell flat for me as well.
Yeah.
He flatlined.
He flatlined, yeah. But I think they cut a lot of his scenes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. So I don't think that's what he was meant to be like.
Yeah.
Yeah, the storylines went nowhere. The 8 different storylines. There was no character development. I had no sympathy. I couldn't follow the story. Like, for a big chunk of it, they were just partying their asses off.
Yeah.
So for that whole chunk, because what happened in the original, Kiefer Sutherland went under first, and he started experiencing it straight away.
Yeah.
So his story had already started to unfold, whereas she went under,
Played
she
the
saw
piano.
the odd thing, played the piano, and by the point when she saw them at the party, 3 of them had gone under. So her story didn't, like, instead of throwing hail at each other in the middle of the street and partying, they could have used that for character development.
I mean, her story is pretty sad.
It is really sad,
And-
but I had no connection.
But I now I think about it, I'm like, that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But I don't care.
Yeah,
I didn't care.
Yeah.
And to go from Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, which is
that.
an amazing film,
Yeah.
absolutely one of my all-time favorites, through to this poo-poo. Like, yeah.
Even with Nina Dobrev's character, so I gathered she was meant to be the Julia Roberts.
Because she's the pretty one.
Like, Ellen Page was kind of partially her, but because of the sad, traumatic past. But I figured she was obviously meant to be the Julia Roberts. And she hadn't, like, she obviously is so driven to be in this medical field, and she's competing with this guy she obviously likes. She had no sympathy for what she did.
Yeah, she was like, I'm not saying anything. I want
Yeah.
my career. I want my
Yeah.
career. And then to just be,
I spoke to the dean. That was it.
and
was the only-
I'm on
yeah.
probation.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, so I gave this 0.5 reels out of 5. What do you give it?
0.2.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, other than, like, the colour scheme, and I was just thinking, like, what music was in it?
Yeah, it was unmentionable.
Yeah.
Like, you don't even really take it in. To me, it's like the only good things they did was they had beautiful scenery and cinematography, because they were actually in a city and they had, like, higher definition cameras and you can see everything at night, whereas obviously they used the color schematics in the original and it was a bit hazy and fuzzy because it was older.
Yeah.
But that's the only thing it had going for it.
But also, anyone could do that with new technology.
yeah.
So it's
You
nothing
need
to do with the
have the story and
director.
the acting to go with it.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that just made me so sad to know that this one is...
I think this one is almost as bad as our Psycho. These are the 2 hated remakes we've done.
Yeah, and I was actually going on to, like, YouTube saying, the worst remakes of all time, and these 2 are, like, the top 2 of worst remakes of all
I can't
time.
believe we did that.
Yeah,
Insane.
I know.
Psycho obviously was the better one out of the 2. Like, the original Psycho was better than the original.
Flatliners?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, you rated it a little bit better. Yeah, but I'm so glad that you like classics.
I
Obviously do.
yeah.
But I mean, to appreciate the 90s film as much as I did.
Yeah. I really love, obviously, I love horrors, but I particularly love horrors, like classic horrors and horrors in the 70s and 80s. Like, they're my favorite era and type of films to watch. Like, there's just so much more to appreciate in the film. Like, even though, like, new kids will watch it and they'll be like, oh, this looks so crap. Like, when they mock on old movies that they use, like, a cardboard box or something.
Yeah.
Like, but it's more to appreciate because they were creative enough to think of how could they make this instead of, let's just input it in the
Computer.
I was actually talking with a friend this morning, and we were talking about Suspiria, so that he listened to our episode, and we were talking about the new one where Dakota Johnson is dancing and the girl's bones break, and we were talking about how it worked because it was a perfect blend of prosthetics and CGI. So it worked well if you can mash them together, but when you just go straight out CGI, it just doesn't work. And for me, I don't think that makes a good film.
No. This is definitely one of the worst we've ever done.
I know. What are we doing next? I have to bring up
I think we're doing Little Shop of Horrors.
Which I have found a free link online for you to watch the original and the classic. Okay. So I will send it. We'll make sure we post it out on our Facebook channel, because you can't put URLs in Instagram, so that way you can all watch it. But I just want to confirm that is what we're doing.
And then the month after that is One for the Money. I'm excited to do that one, and I have to say Little Shop of Horrors was one of the very first musicals I ever went to, like a proper musical.
I'm really excited. This is a film that I've always known about, but I've never watched it.
You've never seen it?
No. So I'm like,
have you seen the remake? No. You've never seen anything about it?
So that's why I chose it. I'm like, you know what? I'm really excited to watch something new. I knew it was one that I was always interested in. So I used this, I really tried to broaden my choices this year in different fields. So I would have just picked 6 horror films otherwise.
Yeah,
so
I know you
really
would have.
tried to make sure I picked different things, and this is one that I've always wanted to watch.
Yep.
And I found the classic. I will make sure it's posted so everyone can watch it. And then you can watch the remake, which is still fairly old as well. So
it's 86.
So I think this is going to be really interesting.
Oh man,
because
I'm
I do
so
love
excited.
Classic films. So we aren't even in this new century.
Yeah.
I think at that point.
No.
So
this is, oh my goodness, I love Little Shop of Horrors so much.
I wish I saw it as a musical. That would be cool.
Yeah, that, and then I also saw, that was one of the very first musicals I ever saw, that wasn't school-made, it was production. And then my friend also took me to see Hedwig and the Angry Inch. That is an amazing film as well.
Awesome. I don't think I've seen that one.
Oh, yeah, that's a great... Hedwig and the Angry Inch is about the Berlin before the wall went down.
Right.
And this guy who's gay, he went and he fell in love with a man. And the man was like, I will take you across the border, but you need to become a woman. I can't take a man across with me.
Oh, wow.
So he gets the chop and he takes his mum's identity, and he then gets past the Berlin walls and everything, and the guy just leaves him. Yeah, and now he's got to fend for himself.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems intense.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And that's also a remake, so maybe we'll do that one time.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But should we move on to
Nerdison's Nerdy Notables?
It's so much easier to do this when we talk.
I know.
So what's new with you? Wow. A lot going on, hey?
Well, we're continuing with D&D.
Yes, we are. It's getting good.
Yep.
We do only play every fortnight, so not much development there.
No, but I'm trying not to kill you guys.
Which you're doing well.
Ish.
Yeah. And hopefully, I'm still working from home. So hopefully when we start up again, I can, start listening to some more books and things like that, because that became my morning and afternoon routine, but not anymore.
So have you finished One for the Money?
Yeah, I finished that in February.
Oh, really?
And I finished Death on the Nile in February, and then we decided we're not doing the book, are we? And I'm like,
well, maybe we'll add the book
we're
to
doing
the
70s version versus the remake when it comes out. So the book is not included, but I'm glad I listened to the book. It was really good.
Okay, with COVID and everything, I don't know whether or not their movies are going to come out.
That's a good point. So stay tuned. We may end up
making that next year. That, and also The Secret Garden, they might not be out.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to watch that one. Even though it was my choice, I'm like, I don't want to watch it.
That's how I feel about
because
this one.
I love the original.
Yeah.
And I grew up watching that, and I thought,
I've never heard of it.
Even when it was on TV, I made my partner watch it, and he's like, "What is this? It's so boring." And every time it's on, I'm like, "Oh, I'll leave it on." And he's like, "But you've seen it. It's boring." And I'm like, "But it's to me, I don't know if it's a nostalgic thing because I watched it as a kid, but I really liked that movie as a kid, and I can already see just from the posters alone, it looks terrible. So we shall see.
Yeah, we might have to choose something else for those 2 months.
We'll keep you guys informed, obviously.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I've just been rewatching a lot of stuff, so not really much new with me.
I've started watching Doctor Who, the very classic.
That is a struggle.
Yeah, I know.
I started from season 1, so it was all pictures.
Yeah.
And it was just audio, so that is a big struggle.
My dad was saying that what they did was, with the old ones, they didn't think it was going to do anything. They didn't go anywhere. So they literally threw them in the fire.
Yeah.
And they were like, whatever works. Whatever doesn't die, we'll keep. And so that's why a lot of it is stills and audio.
I think I managed to get up to... I only managed to nearly finish the second Doctor, but it was just very difficult. Like, the stories are amazing, and I feel like a lot of those stories can be redone in like a newer modern sense. And I really love that the classic one story will last for like 5 or 6 episodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, it just sadly... the video is gone, so you really have to.
But I love the fact that you and I went and saw one of them, and at the cinema.
Yeah, they redid it, and they did it with cartoons.
Yeah, and it was half.
It was the 4th Doctor.
Yeah, but who's your ultimate? Like, who's your Doctor?
Well, see,
mine's McCoy.
I know you.
McGann. Sorry, McCoy.
I didn't really watch much of the classic, and to me, it's still Capaldi. I love Capaldi. I don't know, like I used to like Eccleston because I started with him, and then I changed. As soon as Capaldi came on the screen, I changed. Like immediately.
Yeah, mine's definitely Sylvester McCoy. He's my Doctor growing up, and I've started, randomly, because I don't own all of the series, so I just JB Hi-Fi had a special buy 2 for 1 or something. I wanted to buy them all, but I never got to it. So I started watching.
I had downloaded them years ago, so I have all the classics somewhere on a hard drive.
Yeah, and I just randomly was just watching from
William Hartnell.
No, not William Hartnell. He's the War Doctor.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, William Hartnell. Yes, sorry, I do apologise. So I was watching it from William Hartnell, and then I moved.
A lot of his videos were okay, but when you move on to the second Doctor, there's like barely any video for him.
Yeah, and then, I was watching Sylvester McCoy, and I'm like, oh my God, Ace is in this. This is like bringing back so much just joy.
Yeah.
And I've got the movie, and I remember watching the movie once, but I don't want to go back because I don't want that ruined.
Yeah.
I don't want, but McGann is a beautiful Doctor as well.
Yeah.
Have you seen the movie?
Which one?
The Doctor Who movie with Paul McGann.
Oh my God, yes. That was sad. That's a time and space, right?
No.
Oh no, okay, then maybe I haven't.
It's where Sylvester McCoy regenerates into Paul McGann, and it's American.
No, I don't know if I've seen that.
Americans tried to take over it.
As they do.
And then Eccleston, and then he turned into Eccleston.
Oh, yeah, no, I haven't seen it. I know my partner really loves that one. I haven't seen that one, but I do remember watching A Time and Space, and that is so sad. Yeah. I cried when I watched that.
Oh.
It's sad.
Oh,
because it has like Argus Filch from Harry Potter in it.
I know. I think he's he's so good for looking like William Hartnell.
Yes, he does. He looks like almost spit image of him.
I know. But you'd be proud. I've been on Netflix watching all of the Studio Ghibli.
I know.
movies.
I'm really happy. They're so good. A lot of them pull at the heartstrings.
Yeah.
They know how to do that.
Yeah, and my mum's like, what do you want to watch? And I said, Mum, let's watch a Studio Ghibli movie. She's like, I said, oh, it's an anime. She's like, I love anime. And I go, it's in Japanese, blah, blah. She's like, I'm too slow of a reader.
But a lot of them are dubbed.
I know. So then we watched it in dubbed, and we watched Spirited Away.
Most of Studio Ghibli I've watched dubbed.
Yeah, and they're just so beautiful. Oh, and actually, I started watching the first episode of Parasite on Netflix.
That's a series?
No, it's got nothing to do with Parasite.
Right, okay.
This is a Japanese anime where parasites come in and they take over.
I've seen. Yep.
Oh, it's so good. FYI, also, I watched the first episode of Snowpiercer.
You know what? When I watched an extended trailer of that, I thought this series does not look good compared to the movie, and I don't want to watch it because I really love the movie.
It's two different. It's not a remake. It's two completely different stories.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll watch it. It didn't interest me.
Yeah, but I really love Jennifer Connelly.
I like her too, but I'm not sure about this series. But then again, I can't make a judgment without watching it. So.
Exactly. But I got halfway through the first episode and I'm just like,
See, you at least watched it and knew. I preempted that, and I'm like, I'm not gonna waste my time.
But
even my partner saw the trailer and he's like, that does not look good, and we didn't bother with it. And we loved Snowpiercer.
yes, how good is that film?
Yes, so good.
Tilda Swinton in Snowpiercer.
Oh, she's the best.
She's the best. Like, she's creepy.
I
She's
love
just
her.
amazing. Jennifer Connelly just comes off as just a snooty little bitch.
Is she meant to be the same character?
Yes.
Oh, God,
Yes.
she doesn't even look. No, I don't want to watch this now.
Yes. The uprising for the like different carriages is just completely different, but also the way that they started off with the train. Like, so they start off with the world just crushing and all this kind of stuff, and then people are there's like fences around where the rich and everybody gets onto the train, and then they just open up the fence and it's a free for all for everybody to get on. And it's pretty horrible because there's a family and he gives his daughter to his wife and he's like, you need to get on. And he's like trying to get on and he just misses it. And like, you're just like, oh yeah, it's not that great.
Yeah, like it didn't look good.
I don't know if
saw
I do want to continue to see if it does get any better.
To be honest, I don't think it's something I will watch.
No,
I probably won't even give it a go. Like, I like the movie. I think I'm going to leave it at just the movie.
Yeah. See, I've known about I guess you call it a remake, for a really long time because they've been promoting it for ages.
Yeah, I remember. We were talking
like
about
2 years they've been promoting it. And then for it to finally come out, I'm like, I was
Disappointment.
expecting so much more.
Yeah, it would have been better if
It's
they
turning
got
into like a
the
cop
cast.
drama.
Oh.
In like, yeah, not a very good thing. All right, so next month is your choice of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yes, I'm very excited. So keep an eye on Facebook. We'll make sure we put it up regularly to watch from that link.
If you like us, please leave us a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, wherever you listen to your podcasts.
You can follow us on Facebook or Instagram, and please share it around with your friends.
And write us an email of what your thoughts are on nerdizons@outlook.com.
Yeah.
Or if you have any suggestions that you would like us to do, also send us an email. Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.